World Turn.
Hi, good afternoon, or evening, or day, or wherever you're listening to this, and welcome back to Queers and Soaps. I am joined by my handsome co-host, Eric.
Hi.
Today we'll be talking about As the World Turns. We are in March now. Yeah, you probably are wondering what happened in February. We'll get into that. We are in Marches. Wow, March, March 2nd to the 9th. Roll the credits. So, like I said, we are in March. But what happened in February? Well, the episodes that we're watching on YouTube, yes, you can watch this on YouTube, are not available for all of February. But luckily we have the As the World Turns book to help us out throughout everything. So, Eric, why don't you pick us up on? I forgot their names. Beatrice and Brian.
Beatrice and Brian. So what did they do in February? Did you read?
Oh, in February. I just assumed that everything that was talked about on the show was brought up.
Oh, so
that they went to Edinburgh. They met together. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to just mention this Sabrina stuff. So I feel like the Sabrina stuff,
Let's start with Sabrina.
that must have been all February because when you read like 1987, the beginning, it's all of it. I'm like, what?
It's like a column, and it's like basically 3 or 4 columns. Actually, no, it's actually it's like 3 or 4 columns of like the Sabrina stuff.
Yeah, it's so it picks up. We pick up in March 2nd, where Sabrina's already in Oakdale.
Yep.
So all of this crazy shit happened before, like crazy. So where we left off, those people died.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, everybody was dead. We're like, what's going on? Howard was pretending to be Peter, I think. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Sabrina senses that she was in danger. The book says, and she hopped the spot onto the Orient Express.
Yep.
Of course, we get a murder on the Orient Express storyline.
Of course. I know Another World also the Orient Express story.
How fun would this have been if we got to see it? So she was heading to Venice because she thought she was being followed. Lansing found out that's Howard Lansing, which I found out Howard Lansing was the ex-chief administrator at Memorial in Oakdale.
Oh.
That's how he ties into John. And he was blackmailing John and so on, which we already talked about before. We didn't really know the exact reason, I don't think. But this whole situation. So I think it was 2 years after the baby switch, John had found out about the baby switch. And he didn't tell anybody because he was told that Sabrina had died with her parents in a car crash or something.
I think it was a train crash.
Train crash? Okay, train crash.
Yeah, I think it was a train crash.
And yeah, so that's where his little thing, that's what, in the present day, what we're watching in March of, well, not present day, but 1987, John is fighting the hospital board because they feel like that was a misconduct of justice or something like that. So they feel that, some people want him to stay. Some people feel like he should go because he never told anybody the situation. But I guess he didn't want to hurt Kim because he knew, I'm guessing this is why he kept it a secret. Well, it really wasn't written then, but at the same time, the writers wrote in this, the history. So, I mean, what he did wasn't awful, but I guess, I don't know. I guess if he did tell them, they could have looked into it and they would have found out that Sabrina was alive. Because that's what, where we see Margot, he tells Margot, which I thought was pretty ballsy of him, because usually, she'd find out some other way. And she gets pissed because she just lost the baby. Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff. This soap is great, especially 1987. I'm loving it.
And then
Um,
Rick Ryan fled to the Caribbean, and Howard Lansing hanged himself in jail.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so ultimately all of this Orient Express stuff, I guess, leads up to that.
Hmm.
Sabrina thought she was being followed. Lansing found out. He booked a flight to catch up where the train was going to be.
Hmm.
Franny, Seth, Kim, and Bob all booked the Orient Express as well. Bob came face to face with Lansing.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess they just, I don't know if they just yelled it out or talked. I don't know. It didn't really say. Um, but yeah, a lot of stuff happened with the Sabrina stuff. And then
Even
ultimately,
Lila was involved
yeah.
from like
So,
on the
yes.
Oakdale side.
Yeah. So, and then Lucinda is like defending, um, what's his name?
John.
John at the hospital. She's the only one. Everybody's like, ah, they want him out because they don't want any like bad publicity, like
Hmm.
for the hospital. They want to make somebody pay. Lucinda like kind of defends them. Um, but yeah, this stuff was man, I wish we got to see it.
I know. I wish we could have saw it.
Why didn't they record?
I know that would have been just amazing.
I know. It's really and it feel like when I read all of this, it's seriously, yeah, like you said, 3 columns. So it's like, and it leads up until like basically they're in Oakdale with
Hmm.
Sabrina. So that's the only one I really read about that happened in February, and I feel like that's probably the dominant story. They probably had a lot of little other side stories, kind of. Because reading that felt like 22 episodes of
Yeah.
material, or however many we missed.
And then when we get back to Oakdale, Franny's a little like I'm glad to have a sister, but I was the only child of Bob and Kim for. I forgot who's her mom. Is it Jennifer? I think. I
Who,
think it's
Sabrina
Jennifer. I think
or
Jennifer is her
Franny?
Franny. Yeah,
I know. So I was confused. So yeah, apparently it was. So Sabrina is
Sabrina's
uh,
Bob and Kim's daughter.
Bob and Kim's daughter. When they had an affair
When they had an
before.
affair when he was married to Jennifer.
Well, and they end up
Jennifer is Kim's
looking.
sister, Barbara's mom. So that's why
At,
Barbara's pissed. That's Sabrina's existence because it's a reminder of how how they betrayed her mom.
that makes sense then. I was wondering because I saw like Barbara was mad and she's like not accepting it. I mean, yeah, it's not Sabrina's fault, and Sabrina had no idea about any of this.
Hmm.
So I do feel like it is kind of shitty to take it out on someone that had zero idea about this and
Yep.
like that is like, listen, I'm just as messed up as in this situation as you are. like I get it, but at the same time, be nice because whatever. But I get it. I mean, but that affair was what, probably in the '60s, I think, from what I read.
I think this is like I think because Franny was Sorazed, the affair was in the 70s, but they kind of pushed it back 10 years because Franny was a teenager in the 80s, a teenager adult in the 80s. So I think
Okay.
the affair was in the 70s, but they pushed it back because she got Sorazed.
Okay. So we have Sierra a lot in these episodes.
Yeah.
I guess it isn't this like a lot of the stuff like that was happening. This is why I think Sabrina pretty much dominated that
Hmm.
February because like the Sierra stuff is still like with Tonio is still seems fresh to me. Like it didn't seem like much happened during that storyline.
Yeah, except that she found out that he had an affair with Barbara.
So that's what they're like.
Yeah, and
Sierra confronted
that's what she wanted
Tonio.
to divorce him.
I put Sierra confronted Tonio about being a dirty dog.
And then she slept with Craig, so that's Bryant she's carrying. So I knew it was Bryant that she's carrying.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
don't know
so
Bryant, I don't
this
think.
baby will be Craig's. I know it. I know it's Craig. I know this is Bryant.
Like I know it. Um, and I think Yeah, Tonio. I guess Tonio is like regretting whatever he was doing with Meg because Meg is there and he like kind of blows her off.
Yeah.
I guess because he's like, oh, I might lose Sierra, even though he pretty much did. I
He
felt
didn't
like
care.
I thought he didn't care, but it seems like he does now. All of a sudden, I'm like, what is happening?
What's
I
going
don't
on?
know. These characters are complicated.
Yeah.
Um, and we mentioned that John might lose his position from the hospital. Which what is he now? Is he just a doctor at the hospital, or is he like chief of
He is a
staff,
doctor.
or
I think he's just a doctor.
just a doctor?
Wasn't he temporary chief of staff while
I don't
Bob was
know.
away?
Maybe.
I think it was something like. I think he was something like that because I know him and Bob for years fought being chief of staff. I want to be chief of staff. No, I want to be chief of staff. No, I want to be chief of staff. Oh, you're a female.
Yeah.
Okay, Bob's now chief of staff.
There's always a chief of staff thing going on. I feel
Hmm.
like. And then they like forget about it for like years. And then you don't even know who's chief of staff anymore.
Yeah.
Like, or Brian asks for Duncan for Beatrice's hand,
Hmm.
and he's like, no, and gets all angry and wants to hit him and stuff. And you're like, what the hell's going on with this dude? Um,
And his phone got bugged. I mean, but I think that goes along with like the Falcon James stuff. I don't know.
yeah, and it's so yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't read up on what happened to James. Did you?
Hold
So
on.
yeah, we pick up like, and James is not there. So remember
Yeah,
with all
James
the
is not
stuff
there, and I don't see Emily either.
well, whatever we didn't see Emily in. Well, what did we watch? 5 episodes, I think. Yeah, and Emily wasn't
Yeah,
on. I don't think they went off together because they
I
only
hope
talked
not.
about they
I mean,
only
I know she
talked
gets
about
recast, but I'm not sure when she gets recast.
and James didn't die this time, from what I know. Like they said that
Yeah,
he
I
just
think he just
disappeared.
ran
Like he
off.
just,
I think he just
which makes sense because he was getting himself in deep already. So, and they didn't even mention this Falcon storyline in these 5 episodes either. So I'm like, I don't know if that cleared up in February. I can't imagine it doing.
yeah,
Like,
and Duncan's phone gets bugged, so I'm wondering like what that was all about.
I'm guessing who was there with Duncan. Trying.
Shannon?
I don't think Shannon would have done
Shannon
it.
wouldn't have done it, but like I know Shannon was
But
there because then
wasn't
Steve
some?
walked out the room, and then he heard a click on the phone, and then he went under
Oh,
the phone and found the
Earl. Earl probably
Earl.
bugged it.
Oh, Earl, yes, that's right.
Yeah,
He was acting kind of weird.
yeah. He was really weird, but I guess because he's Interpol or whatever, so he's trying to bust him.
Hmm.
So yeah, we don't know where James went. Hopefully, the book says it eventually. Yeah, it's Shannon and Duncan were talking about Stenbeck leaving. And then they have that Barbara dumped Duncan, which I feel like Duncan didn't care anyway.
Yeah,
He didn't seem to give a shit.
I think he's more focused on wanting to get with Shannon, but he doesn't realize that he wants to get with Shannon or get back with Shannon because if they were married before.
Right. These people. Franny and Seth. Everybody's back in Oakdale now, so nobody's in England anymore.
Nobody's in England. I think there's people in Edinburgh.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
well,
only
I
really the
think
only, but it's not like on location or anything like that. It's just like
I know. I'm like confused at who's where sometimes. Like I'm like, where are they? Oh, they're back in Oakdale. Okay, so weird. Um, Lila wants Craig. Oh, something happened to Craig. He's like in the hospital.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out what happened with Craig. He like passes out in front of Sierra. Um,
Yeah,
Let me see if I can
'cause
find it.
Lila calls Craig and wants him to stay with her and Casey.
Mhm.
Um, oh yeah, I don't know what this was about. Lila and Casey were like together in the hospital, and Meg like came by and just like ruined the moment. I'm like, does she not like them together? And who is Meg related to? She's
Who,
with
who,
is
who
she
related to?
is Meg related to Lila or Casey? Or maybe she just likes
No, no,
Casey.
no, no. She's staying with them because she's not related to them, but she is staying with them because um the whole New Mexico thing that got
Right.
revealed. She's just staying with them. I think
Does
she's
she
not
like?
Casey.
Does she like Casey? Because she like.
I don't think she likes Casey. I think she's just scandalized by it because remember, she also mentioned in the same sentence, "Oh, did you hear what happened with the Muses, Sabrina girls?"
Okay.
I think she's just scandalized. So I don't know if she likes Casey or if she's just like being a town gossip or whatever.
Okay. So somebody goes to Emma and they want her to speak on John's behalf at the little trial thing at the hospital. Um, and I don't think she does. She just writes a note or something. I'm like, okay.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Look, this is a thing that shouldn't have happened. We're not going to make it happen. Bye.
Yeah. I put Lucinda as Team Tonio. She's ridiculous. No wonder why her kids like yell at her all the time and
Kids
don't
are
get along
messed
with
up
her.
because of her.
She's crazy. So
One
yeah, so
kid is not hers. The other one is just
right,
like
like
banging her
everything's
bed.
everything's here is going through with Tonio, and Lucinda's like, you should get back with him. She's like, no.
I think, but I think Lucinda banged Tonio at some point, but had sex with Tonio at some point, and she had an affair with Craig. So
Lucinda gets around. But yeah, like so as she defends Tonio, Sierra says that go marry him yourself. And she's there to see Jessica to get a divorce. She wants
mm-hmm.
to get a divorce from Tonio, which is why he's all upset about this. Like now, which makes no sense to me because he wasn't even like trying to get back with her in the episodes we watched in
I wonder
January.
if it's just a money thing with him. I wonder if he I like I like Sierra, but I like the money more because
Yeah.
she's
So
connected with Lucinda.
I was confused about this too. Emma left the note for John, and Meg ended up with the note and doesn't give it to him and crinkles it up. Why would she do that? Does she not like John?
I guess not.
I don't know what the situation is. I'm trying to think. So Meg is Meg Emma's daughter?
Meg's Emma's daughter, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Emma has a lot of daughter. Emma has a lot of children.
Sorry, people. I'm still learning. I'm still learning the show, and I don't know who's connected to who. Still, I get confused because there's a lot going on in this show. Oh, Nancy and Sabrina have a nice little chat.
I love
She,
them together.
yeah, that was cute. She talked about Chris, who had died that year. You said.
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't know whether if he had already died, but their anniversary was on the 30th anniversary of the show. I want to say. Wait, this is the 40th book, right? So
I think so.
Yeah. So this is the 30th anniversary of the show was their anniversary, and then
Yeah,
a
that
few
would make
months
sense.
later, the actor who played Chris died, so they killed him off.
Okay. Casey and Lila tell each other they love each other, which I think they might have done already, but since we are so broken up, I'll just point it out.
Yeah, we got it.
Sierra tells Tonio that she filed for divorce, so I guess she saw Jessica off camera.
Yeah, I would love to see Jessica.
Beatrice had some kind of tea leaf reading that said Brian would end up with an Irish lass, which we find out, I think, in the next episode or the one after. What that's about exactly? This is so weird. I just not feeling Beatrice for some reason. What does she do? Does she work? Like she's just always from the island to Oakdale, Oakdale to the island.
She's just from the island. Don't worry, I spoiled myself.
she's not that great of a character though.
No, and then I forgot that the guy who plays Brian is Mark Pinter. So.
Oh, I love Mark Pinter. Yeah, that's when he hooked up with what's her name in real life?
Yeah, he was married to Colleen Zank
for a long time, and then I guess got divorced. Like, yeah. And then we have Meg tells Emma that Uncle Henry is dead. Are we supposed to care about Uncle Henry? Do we know who this is?
Yes. This is an important yes, because of his son. So we're supposed to care about Uncle Henry because of the guy who was with Betsy and Sierra. That's why we're supposed to care about it.
Ah,
We
thank
are
you.
maybe not that much, but we're supposed to care. There's a reason why we get the mysterious guy.
I love William Fichtner, number one, and I was
Yes.
very excited to see him because I knew he was on some soap, and I couldn't remember which one. So I knew he's on multiple. Actually, I think he did two or three. So March 3rd, we have Barbara. Barbara tells Lisa she and Duncan broke up. She says Duncan has something on James, and he won't like share it with her, so that's why she dumped him.
Might be the murder thing. The murder, the
I
murder.
I know. I wish I did have to read that book to see if it says why James left, but I don't know if it will. Memorial won't press charges for what John did years ago, and I put something involving Sabrina because I didn't know at the time, and until I read my book. um, Lucinda fights with Craig about Sierra, and Lucinda's so complicated. They're like fighting, but
Yeah.
then they hug, and then he blames her for everything. I'm like, okay.
And then Sierra calls Craig and he's like, "Yeah, Lucinda's here. She's right here with me."
Yeah. Oh, so weird. Um,
Like I said, they
Kim,
had an affair, so
here's a question for you. I don't know if you know, but I have Kim thinks that she's getting paid back for what she did to her sister years ago. So I guess that was the cheating.
Jennifer. Yeah,
That was
Jennifer.
the cheating. Okay, that's probably
Yeah,
what
because
she was
remember
referring to.
Jennifer. So remember, like I said, Jennifer is Kim's sister, Barbara's aunt. So sorry, Jennifer is Kim's sister. Kim is Barbara's aunt. Jennifer is Barbara's mom,
All right. Whew.
and that's why Barbara looks like Kim.
Yeah. Yeah, we have John calls Lucinda, invites Lily over, but she wants to stay there because Holden's there.
I like when he tells her bring the fire extinguisher.
And yeah, I have Holden finds out about Uncle Henry's death. Was Uncle Henry on the show, or we never
No,
seen him?
no, no. We don't
Okay,
see Uncle Henry. We do see his son. Like I
his
say,
son, which is what I was.
like
That's
I
why I
said,
was
yeah,
like, this got to mean something. If everybody's being, oh, my Uncle Henry died. Uncle Henry died.
yeah. I think that's just like a let's usher the Snyders off for a while until we let's usher the Snyders off for a while for a funeral, so that way we can move to this next beat of the whole Lily's paternity story.
Yeah. I have
I may have
Sierra.
spoiled something, but I'm not going to say what I spoiled.
It's all right. Sierra confides in Betsy. She says that Lucinda knew about Tonio's affair and didn't say anything. And Sierra tells Craig about their divorce. So I'm guessing this is like kind of an open door for Craig because I know he
Mhm.
like got feelings for her and stuff. And basically Sierra's like, Craig's the only one I could trust because he's actually telling me the truth and telling me things when nobody else is, telling her anything. Because everybody likes to keep secrets, That's how it
Mhm.
is. Um, Lucinda and Craig threaten each other. That's all I have there. They're so weird. I'm like, just have sex again. I mean, what are you doing? Um, I put this was so random. John's maid Rosa is all angry, uh, and Dusty and Andy are hanging out. This is, I guess, when we see them too.
Yeah.
And Rosa quits because of how John's treating her. I'm like, I wonder. It's probably like a nothing in the storyline unless it leads to something, but I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, it's probably just like a funny beat to the story.
Just like a funny beat.
Hmm.
Holden ends up having like some thoughts or whatever about Lily finding out the truth about Iva, but I guess it's like a kind of a back burner storyline right now that will lead to something. I have some guy, Eric, calls from London to talk to Sabrina. She says she doesn't feel like she fits in or belongs there. I mean, because she kind of doesn't. I mean, she has family there, but she don't know these people. And would you want to be a part of this mess? um, I have Lucinda fires Matilda and fights with John. Who's Matilda? I guess that's our maid. All the maids are getting fired.
Yeah, I
We're
guess so.
quitting. And Paul is confident that James will be back because I guess he really trusts his daddy. Um, Tonio tries to talk to Sierra. She isn't having it. Craig is the only one she can trust. Barbara leaves the room and James calls.
Ooh.
So he's still around. So I'm guessing James just got himself into a pickle and rolled out. That's
Hmm.
what, like you said, he was only on like short term because he was on another soap or something. Loving, I think he said.
Yeah, I think he was on Loving around that time too. I don't know. I don't know if you can do double duty with that, but like,
Well, that's why he probably left. He probably left Loving for a little bit. His character, maybe they gave him like a character break, and then they're like, "We'll come back in 2 months," and he's like, "Well, as the world turns on me." There's so many soap operas, and soap operas.
yep.
Then we're on to March 5th, 1987. Um, Brian and Beatrice are going to Chicago now. I don't know why, but that's where they're going. Earl and Lisa, Duncan, Shannon, Earl, and Lisa are together. They're on his way. They're on their way back to Oakdale. So that's what I'm trying to like find where all these people are because people are everywhere.
Hmm.
Not everybody can be in Oakdale at the same time, I guess.
Can't be at Oakdale. No, you can't. You can't just stay
No.
in one place.
We find out that Sabrina's loaded. She inherited 5 million. What is it? 5 million pounds.
£5 million, which I'm not going to do the math. It's a lot of money in U.S. money.
I was gonna say I don't know how much that is, but it sounds like a lot, and I'd be okay with that. So yeah, so Sabrina's loaded. So now I'm nervous for her because I'm like, oh great, she's gonna get some guy that wants her money. um,
Or
Brian
she gets
still,
kidnapped like Lily.
yeah. Brian wants to tell or tells Beatrice he loves her and he wants to be with her and he wants to see Shannon to thank her for saying that he was in love with her. I don't know. I'm like the
And blah de
storyline.
blah de blah de blah.
I
I don't
know.
care.
Me too. I don't care about this, and I don't. I like Shannon. I don't. I
Yeah,
mean, I
no, I
do and
like
I
Shannon.
don't.
It's Beatrice and Brian I don't care about. Like the only reason I care about Brian is
No,
Mark Pinter.
right.
And now, part two of As the World Turns.
I don't know.
Because that's my what's his name on Another World? What's that character's name? Grant Harrison. Yes, I love me
Ah,
some Grant
great.
Harrison.
I remember hearing about him. Franny talks to Barbara about Sabrina. Barbara has a problem with it, as we talked about. Um, then this is where, like, before I read my book, I was like, Bob and Kim had Sabrina? Question mark. um, then Franny tells Barbara that she's hurting Bob and Kim. She's like, well, I don't want to hurt Bob and Kim. Well, I mean, well, you are because the way you're acting. So whatever. And she leaves. Lisa invites everyone to Mona Lisa's. Now, I thought this was going to be like a big deal, but it really wasn't. Nothing happened there. I'm like,
No,
oh, everybody's going to.
I love Eileen Fulton singing on this. Like it made me laugh, chuckle a few times.
Yeah, right.
Like it's
Um,
very like bold and like Broadway and that sort of thing. So
this is stuff that I think that why James might have gone because Earl asked Duncan about ledgers that only James knew about. Now, I don't know what ledgers are. I'm assuming it's some kind of business thing or
yeah.
shady business dealings. So I'm guessing that James left because of this stuff going on, but I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully, we find out in the next. Maybe he's not even gone yet because he did call Paul.
Yeah.
So maybe he is still around, but just like you
But
said, lurking in the
Paul, did we
shadows.
see him? I forgot if we saw him or not.
James, Paul,
James, yeah.
yeah, James. No, but
Yeah, we
he
didn't see him.
called Paul.
We heard. I mean, we heard Paul talking to James, not we didn't
They're,
actually
yeah, yeah,
see
and they're
James.
talking about that he left town or left, disappeared somewhere. Because I guess because he was in some shit.
Hmm.
Sierra and Sabrina talk, tells her about her mom. Um, Seth asks Sabrina if she wants to go sketch somewhere. I'm suspicious of Seth.
I'm keeping my mouth shut because I know what happens. So I'll let you discover it.
Well, I see where it's going. which I feel like is dick because I'm like, dude, you were on this journey with your girl, and now you're like crushing on your other girl that is a
On your
twin.
girl
So
sister.
I guess because she's either she's mysterious or he knows about the money. And he's like, might as well go with the money because Franny ain't that rich.
But they're doctors. Doctors are loaded.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
I
but
mean,
she's
well, I
like,
mean,
I
like
don't
her, cause
know, her family.
yeah, her family's Franny's family's loaded because they offered to pay for Sabrina's college, even when
Right.
after she mentioned that she was loaded. She said,
Hmm.
like, no, don't worry about your money. We got this. We got connections at Oakdale U. We got a benefactor or something. Which if anybody wants to pay for me to go to college to get my bachelor's degree, DM me.
And if anyone just wants to give me money, I'll take it.
Hey, I accept all kinds of money.
She just wants to go to school. I want
Except
money.
for Bitcoin. We're not doing that cryptocurrency shit. No.
Yeah, right. Like, um, so Earl, I guess, is still trying. Like you said, like we think that Earl. I'm assuming Earl bugs Duncan, whatever phone and all that stuff. But he wants to go through the secret passageways to like leave. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
surprised Duncan isn't on to him because I feel like Duncan will be like, no, we'll just go out the door. But he's like, yeah, sure, we'll go through the secret passageways. Why not? Um, Beatrice and Brian are there, but everybody like just left right when they got there. Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
I love when they do that on soaps. Brian has a memory of Shannon, and then she shows up. She's there.
Hmm.
He thanks her, tells her he asked Beatrice to marry him. She's like, oh, good for you. Um, Barbara apologizes to Kim about Sabrina. She says she will try to be nice to her. She needs time. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of time. She said
A
multiple times to
million
everybody.
years. I don't think she'll ever accept her.
I need until she leaves the show. Then I'll like her.
And by that point, I think they recast Sabrina after Julianne Moore left. So I wonder if it was with the second
They
actress.
did? Did
Yeah.
they
So
recast Sabrina and not Franny?
no,
That
they
would be weird.
recast Franny. They're not twin. I don't think they have them as twins anymore at that point.
So weird.
Yeah.
All that
Or
hard
they
work and mystery.
because I have never seen the actress who played Sabrina. I only seen the actress who replaced Julianne Moore as Franny.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering if like they just because like the actress didn't want to play dual roles or couldn't handle dual roles, they just cast like a lookalike that looked like her. I guess
Maybe she was
I don't
like a
know. I've
newer
never seen the
actress.
actress who replaced Julianne Moore or Sabrina.
Well, maybe we will see her.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like the early '90s, I think.
oh, okay. Hal and Duncan are talking. He just questions them about stuff. Doesn't Nothing much happens out of that. Beatrice asks about Brian's feelings because Beatrice still thinks that he's going to end up with Shannon because Shannon's Irish and she's not as of now. um, Beatrice ends up saying yes to the wedding proposal, and neither of us care.
Yeah, right.
Although I would like to see a wedding in this castle, but
Yeah, I
um,
would prefer to see a wedding between Shannon and Duncan. To be honest with you, the castle.
oh, we might see them
I said
get
I would
married.
prefer. I would prefer if we do get a wedding between Shannon and Duncan. Would prefer we would
Right.
see their wedding
Yeah.
because they got
Um,
chemistry.
Andy's feeling torn between John and Kim because John's making him feel guilty because he's doing what every parent shouldn't do.
Hmm.
Everyone gathers at Mona Lisa's. Lisa welcomes everyone and sings Blue Moon.
I love how she sings Blue Moon. I love it.
It was pretty good. At first, it started out a little shaky. I was like, "Oh gosh," but it
I
actually
was like,
went
oh
good.
no.
I know. I was like, "Oh God."
When she held those notes, I was laughing because it get not in like a mean way, but it gave like a it gave like the same vibe as like Anything Goes for me, and I
Mm.
love that musical so much.
I like Lila's singing better.
Oh yeah. Lila's more trained to this. I like what she said. I like what she said. I had to
Yeah.
talk to him. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh no, why? Get her back. And now we're on the March 6th. Beatrice told Duncan she will marry Brian with or without his blessing. I don't know if this happened off camera or if we missed something because that didn't happen.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. What was the
So,
last one? March 5th?
yeah, March 5th. And then
March
March 6th came and she's like, I told Duncan that I'm going to marry you whether or not,
Yeah, we did miss
he gives his
something.
blessing.
I
So
wonder
I'm
if I
guessing
wonder if this is March 7th.
there might be
And it's
some
a
kind
dated
of,
wrong.
yeah, there could be some kind of issue with
Yeah.
labeling or who knows. Craig is at Lila and Casey. She mentions him being with Iva. I guess because the whole stuff going down with Sierra. I don't think anybody wants Sierra and Craig together for some reason. Betsy
Because
comes over.
the thing.
What's that?
I think because of the Lucinda thing.
Probably. Yeah, nobody wants to Lucinda involved in their life. um, Betsy comes over. She says she's leaving to join Steve in the spring, or so she thinks. Margot comes over, doesn't do anything yet. Dusty mentions being hung up on Lily, which I guess was kind of important because I thought he was over her.
Yeah, me too.
Here's another. So Brian wants Beatrice back in Oakdale. I thought
What's
they were
Beatrice?
together. I don't understand what
I don't understand
like.
either.
All they do is send Beatrice everywhere. They're like, go back here, go back there. Like, is she in hiding? I'm so confused. I don't know what's
I'm
going on.
confused too.
I don't get it. Lily tells Margot to talk to John. Oh yeah, it's coming. Kim talks to Andy, says John feels awkward around them, and it makes him feel bad. Sabrina comes in, um, says his father all packed. I guess are they going somewhere? Or is Bob going somewhere? She thanks Kim for her patience with her, and they hug. I forget. Do you know if Bob's going anywhere?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because I did get that. Like Sabrina said, his father all packed
Oh, to see Tom.
to Washington,
Yeah,
right?
to see Tom. Yep, I forgot. Yep,
Thank
yep,
you.
yep. It was to see Tom.
Sometimes I forget an important note.
Yeah,
Like,
yes,
why
yes.
does he?
Yeah, he's yeah, because Tom's out of town and he's gonna come back as Scott Holmes. So
Now, see, Sabrina should go with Bob, just like to have a father-daughter bonding time. Duncan and Brian yell at each other. He wants to hit Brian. Shannon says she needs him. Doesn't she? She kind of like distracts Duncan
mm-hmm.
by saying that she's still in love with him. But
Yep.
I don't know. She might be. I don't know.
I think that was just a diversion. I don't think she's
Do you
really
think
in
it
love with
was?
Brian.
Because somebody questions her later, and she's like, "No, no, I don't."
Very,
And
yeah.
I'm
I
like,
mean, it's the way she said it was like, "Oh, I always will be in love with Brian, but but this is not, but but I'm not.
but
I
but
always
I'm
love
not
Brian,
now.
but I'm not in love with Brian." That's how she said it.
Right. Margaret gets to John's. He mentions how the stillborn baby, ended up being a healthy baby girl. Howard was going to kill Sabrina. Margot goes off on him. She says, "You spent Sabrina spent 19 years old without Kim, and she's disgusted, and she leaves." And until then, I didn't really know the whole story, but I guess, like we said, like John was protecting Kim. I feel like if that's the
Mm-hmm.
case from what we read in the book,
Yeah, because remember Tom and not Tom. Wow, John and Kim were together.
right during that
Yeah,
time,
and
right,
that's where Andy comes from.
right. Shannon tells Duncan she still loves Brian. Beatrice gets there, but like we said, it's fake. Kim goes to John about what Andy said. Oh yeah, he says Or she says, you should go to a shrink. And he said, you should go to a shrink. These
Back when
adults
going to shrinks
acting acting
were
like children.
acceptable.
Yeah, right. Sabrina talks to Nancy about being an issue. She feels like she's like a burden to everybody. And Nancy is very sweet, and she
Mm,
says she's very happy that they found her.
I
Betsy
love
says to Sierra, yeah, me too. That was sweet. Like Alice on Days. I love Alice.
yeah.
And Betsy says to Sierra that Craig is trying to make it up to uh, to her for his past mistakes. Betsy got a bad call from Steve. Something about an aunt in Greece. I don't know this situation. We'll have to read up
I'm
on it.
confused over the whole
Me
Steve thing.
too.
I'm confused over the whole Steve thing. So and no matter how much I read it, because
So
there's
confused.
an episode of As the World Turns from 1987 that I did see back in 1999 or 2000. That was played as a
Mhm.
classic episode where Redacted is revealed, and at the same episode, there's like a whole plane crash off screen that
Hmm.
involves Steve and Redacted, because we're getting to this episode soon.
Okay. So it's in this year. That's cool.
Yeah, so
Um, so Brian comes to Duncan, and Duncan's like, "So when do you want to do the wedding?" I guess he is cool with it now. March 9th, our last episode of this thing. Lila
just
thinks
gonna
Craig still cares about Sierra. Um, things aren't going the way Betsy thought they would go because she was supposed to go multiple times to Greece, and for some reason keeps getting pushed back.
mm-hmm.
Um, who was Barbara out with in this? Because I have Barbara and Dude were out. They seemed flirty and they kissed. Was
Hal.
that Hal? That was Hal.
Hal, yep.
All right. I do catch them later on. I think I put Hal, but I forgot to go back and write Hal where Dude was.
Yeah.
um, Duncan tells Brian that
Dun dun dun.
Beatrice is his daughter. And I drove a shocked face. I was like, I was like, what? No idea. I didn't even think of that. And see, that's what soaps got me sometimes. And like, I feel like I know everything. Although this soap is pretty twisty for 1987. I don't know what's
Oh
happening.
yeah, this is a messed up soap opera.
This is very messed up. It's very good though. It's very
It's
deep
very
and
messed up. Douglas Marlin.
it's very detailed. Like it's crazy.
It
Um,
can get very incestuous, and this was before the incest storyline that they had.
oh
Like
man,
the
I wish that
actual
was gone
bad
already.
incest storyline. That, and I'm talking about like everybody in town knows each other, they know their secrets and stuff like that.
All right.
That part of it, that incestuous. I'm not talking about the actual storyline that happened in 1990. That, I don't want to see it. I don't think I want to get to it.
um, so yeah, he tells like a story how he met this Mary person who is Beatrice's mother, and I guess he was a bit of a cad back in the day and slept with
Mhm.
everybody. He comes home one day and his parents had a baby. Her name was Beatrice. Apparently, his parents adopted her and left him a note when they died that Beatrice was his daughter. So those parents were dickheads. Didn't even tell him. I didn't think about it until now. Like, that's so funny.
Now I
Um,
understand if it was something like a Jack Nicholson thing. You know what happened with Jack Nicholson, right?
no, I had
So
no
like,
idea.
because that was basically how this series Andy Mack happened. It was based on like the whole Jack Nicholson paternity story. So Jack Nicholson's grandparents who raised him told him that, oh, this is we're your mom and dad, but really his sister was his mom. So yeah, so
Really?
his sister was his mom, was really his mom or something like that.
We're talking about the actor Jack Nicholson, right?
Yeah, the actor.
Okay. I never heard of that.
Yeah, no, it was a whole thing, and then somebody read that
What?
story because he mentioned the story, and they created the show Andy Mack on Disney based on that premise.
Oh wow, interesting. He should release like an autobiography. I'd read it. If he didn't,
Yeah,
I don't know.
let me make sure I got that right, just to be certain. Jack Nicholson.
Um. So yeah, Beatrice, all that stuff. And he wants Brian to keep it a secret, which I also feel like is a dickhead move. You tell him all
Mhm.
this stuff, and now he has to keep it a secret. You don't. Everybody knows in soaps, you don't get married with a secret. It
Right.
never ends well. Kim calls Cal about Margot. He gives Margot the day off because of everything she just found out about John. Lucinda and John talk. Barbara comes in worried, says about the Hughes illegitimate daughter. Iva comes, wanted to talk about a proposal of some sort. Lucinda's like, yeah, we'll deal with that later. Keep Craig occupied. She says to stay out of Sierra's life. She doesn't want Craig and Sierra back together.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. Lucinda sleeps with everybody. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
We should like keep count, but by now she probably already slept with about 7 people since she's been on. um, Shannon says she was lying about Brian to calm Duncan down. Betsy and Sierra break down. Their car breaks down, and we have William Fickner joins the show, as I don't know his name because they don't say it.
Yeah, they don't say it. They don't say it yet, but we'll find out who he is. It's
um,
important. Very
he's
important.
a hitchhiker that they passed on the road, and then so he ends up like walking down, I guess, and helping them, and they offer to give him a lift for helping out. And I think he's going to the hospital anyway, so it's convenient.
Mhm.
Craig sees Sabrina. I guess Sabrina just got there because Craig didn't see her yet. I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
I think she just got there when we were watching these episodes.
she sees Barbara, offers to get to know her. Barbara ain't having it. She just says again, "I need a long time to get used to you." Iva suspects Meg is up to something, which I guess is going to happen soon because I don't think it happens in this episode. But Meg does seem very suspicious. And I like this Meg, and I'm really glad I looked her up. And she stays on until 1994, so I'm excited to see more Meg.
Oh, cool.
Well, I think she leaves for like a year in between that, but then is back for the 90s for a
Yeah,
little bit.
The Snyder siblings in particular, they're always kind of in and out of the show.
Right. And she
So,
doesn't do much now. Like, she doesn't do any acting. And I'm like, I wonder
aw.
why. Maybe she just like did it for school, and
Mhm.
but she's really good and she really should have stuck around.
She's good.
If
I
they
like
would,
her.
if they allowed her, they could have, gotten rid of her as well, as soaps do sometimes.
Mhm.
Lila asks Margot how she feels. Not happy. Margot bumps into John. She says, I'm ashamed you're my father. I love Hillary B. Smith, man.
I
I,
love
I
her.
wish
I
she
love
I
her.
wish I wish she stayed on as Margot because I love her so much.
Yeah,
So
but
hopefully,
we wouldn't have gotten Nora. So, ooh,
yeah.
ooh, that character Nora. I love her.
Lucinda is suspicious of the hitchhiker dude. Hal goes to Barbara's, has a flashback of somebody, and I don't know who it is. I said, "Who that?" Do you remember
Was
the
it Barbara?
flashback?
I know
Um,
he had a flashback of him kissing Barbara.
well, why would he go to Barbara and then have a flashback of kissing Barbara? Is that what it was?
No, but I know it was at some point. I don't know if it was that particular scene though.
I thought
Oh no,
maybe.
it was when he was like in his, I guess at his apartment. I think it was a little later. We was at his apartment, and then that's when he had the flashback of kissing Barbara. But I forgot who was in that other flashback.
Oh, okay. Beatrice wants her wedding at a pub that Duncan said okay, and I don't know. I don't care.
She wants her wedding at a pub at JD McGillicuddy's.
Yeah.
At Ryan's bar.
Of course, she's suspicious of Duncan. Like, why is he all of a sudden being cool with it? And then she says to Brian, "We want, I want to, we want no secrets in this wedding, so that's going to end," which is fine because we don't like it anyway. Margot goes to Hales. Barbara and Paul are there. Nothing happened. Craig tells Betsy money is there for her. Craig warns Meg about Tonio. That's all I got. I didn't know what was happening in those scenes. I'm like, I don't know.
So we know that Holden knows about Lily's paternity and knows that they're not related. So that's good.
And they are very back burner right now, it seems. In these 5 episodes anyway.
Love was in the air for another Oakdale couple, although it took some doing. Shannon had left Brian because she believed he loved Beatrice, and she urged Beatrice to tell Brian how she felt. Brian was flattered, but he had been an emotional wreck since Shannon walked out on their wedding, and he wasn't ready for anything new. Depressed, Beatrice left for Edinburgh, as you do, and Shannon persuaded Brian to follow. When Beatrice had her tea leaves read and learned that Brian would find happiness with an Irish lass, she presumed the lass was Shannon. But Brian found her and insisted her interpretation was wrong. Beatrice was flabbergasted. When Brian
I love that word.
And she said yes. To Brian's surprise, Duncan disapproved. When Brian tried to persuade him to give his blessing, Duncan confessed he was overprotected because Beatrice was his sister. Wasn't his sister, she was his daughter. Beatrice was a proud product of the teenage romance with Mary Callahan. Duncan's parents, basically Jack Nicholson. So, and then the last thing I want to read is this. That was right about Jack Nicholson. So, his mom is named June Nicholson, father unknown. June was only 17 when she had him. Remember, Jack Nicholson was born in the 30s. So,
right.
So being a single mom was, you know how it was in the 30s. We don't, but we do.
Not fun.
So June was the sister, and Jack's grandparents were his parents.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah.
And how is this all out?
It's called Jack's Life. So look it up.
Yeah. Well, then I'll just get Jack's Life. What is it? His book? Did he write it? Did he write it?
Jack's Life. Do not watch the Beatrice storyline.
Did he write the book though, or did he have anything to do with the book?
He
Because I don't know if I trust things if it's not written by him.
Let me look it up real quick. Jack's Life, because it looked like a biographer wrote the book for him and interviewed him. So.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look it up. So
let's see. It looks like it's by Patrick McGilligan, but I think he was interviewed. I think he interviewed Jack Nicholson about his life. So.
No. That's interesting. Yeah, I have to read that.
Yeah.
And y'all can read it too because it's very soapy.
Yes. Jack Nicholson. Oh man, that guy.
I love that guy.
That being said, do you have anything else you want to add aside from?
No, I am excited to see more because I'm very in it to win it now. Very excited. I want more.
Me too. And does your cat have anything else to add?
Not right now. Not at this moment because he's on my lap.
Oh.
Digging his claws into my leg. Ow.
All right. So that concludes this edition of As the World Turns 1987. As always, you can follow us on the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, bye.
Bye, y'all.